With this context in mind, I'd like to discuss the three most poignant symbols in the music video: ribbons.
You guys didn't tell me. This is making me feel some type of way. What's up, everybody? It's your man DT Parker, and we're doing it again. When I watched the music video "Blood, Sweat, and Tears," and I absolutely loved that video, and then I watched the explanation afterwards. Yeah, I was blown away. I was blown away by the level of detail and the storytelling, and the symbolism and the imagery. It was just unbelievable. I'd never seen a video like that. I'd never seen a video so complex. And it was just amazing. But all I kept seeing in the comment section of that video from you guys was, yeah, if you like that one, you need to watch Spring Day. That is the one you absolutely need to watch, is Spring Day. So, of course, I had to watch that one, and I watched the music video Spring Day earlier today. And I was trying to follow it the best I could, and I could tell that there was things I was missing left and right. And at the end of the video, I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what was going on. And so I'm about to watch the explained video for Spring Day right now, so I can kind of see what was it that I was watching there. And all right, so a few of you are gonna say this. So if you guys want to watch the music video reaction to Spring Day and you don't have access to my Patreon page, there is a way for you to watch it on YouTube for free, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. No, all right, I'll give you a little hint, but you have to know someone who's already a patron of mine on there. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, I'll let you figure it out. But without further ado, let's get into this. This is and this was tough too. Like there's a few you guys were saying which one to watch. There's the Bulletproof Vibes one. There's a few of them out there. And the one I liked last time with the Blood, Sweat, and Tears was the Don't Worry, I'm Not Afraid one. I liked the way she put that together. And so it was 50-50. You guys said, some of you guys said do the Don't Worry, I'm Not Afraid one. Some of you guys said do the Bulletproof one. And so I really liked the Don't Worry, I'm Not Afraid one. I thought she did a great job, and so I'm gonna go ahead and watch that one. No disrespect to the Bulletproof Vibes one, but I thought I liked the feeling, I liked the vibe, and the way she broke it down. So I'm gonna react to her video right now. Let's do it.
Both lyrically and sonically, Spring Day is a beautiful song which tells the story of loss. The deeply emotional ballad garnered recognition worldwide and even made BTS the first K-pop group to break into the US iTunes Top 10. The song is accompanied by a video that's just as artful, rich with symbolism and striking visuals.
I'm sure.
It was awarded Music Video of the Year in 2017 at the Minette Asian Music Awards.
Really?
And rightfully so. The visuals alone were enough to warrant the win. It's just gorgeously shot. Mm-hmm. But lucky for us, there's a whole lot more going on symbolically. Mm-hmm. You know where to look.
All right, give it to me.
At its uppermost layer, Spring Day serves as a seasonal metaphor, comparing feelings of loss and sadness to a long, cold winter. One of the most dominating visual symbols is the train, seen throughout most of the video.
Yeah.
It's an allusion to Snowpiercer, the 2013 film by South Korean filmmaker Jun Ho-bong. Snowpiercer is set in the future, where a failed climate change experiment plunges the entire Earth into a deep freeze, killing all life except those lucky enough to board the Snowpiercer.
Something to watch now.
To travel around the globe forever,
Snowpiercer.
never to reach a destination, trapping all those who inhabit it in an inescapable class system. The film is heavy-handed in its politics and commentary on capitalism, but the concepts that the boys reference in Spring Day stray from the politics of the film and settle more on the emotional, human element of the story.
Clever.
RM's verse establishes just how poignant this sense of longing and loss truly is. He invites us to imagine ourselves, completely alone, riding a train that never stops, but never reaches a destination either. It goes in circles, never escaping the cold winter that surrounds it. Oftentimes, this is exactly what grief feels like. We see Jungkook alone on the train several times, representing how isolated we can feel as we try and heal. In fact, our introduction to most of the boys shows them to be alone in some sort of setting. It isn't until 1 minute and 6 seconds into the video that we actually see any of them appearing in the same frame together. Again, this is meant to echo the lyrics and reflect how alone we can feel when we're in pain. Although Spring Day's lyrics are quite somber, the video poses a more hopeful message about the bonds of friendship. Towards the end of the video, it's revealed to us that although it appeared Jungkook was alone in all of those shots, he never was. The camera dollies out to reveal all the boys have been right there with him, all along. The video overall paints friendship as being incredibly powerful, but there's a couple shots in particular that stand out the most to me. Jungkook lights a match while alone, only to have it flicker out. In a following shot he tries again, with all of the boys beside him, and this time, it remains lit. Whether it's an intentional illusion or not, I read the sequence as being connected to Snowpiercer. In the film, Yona's book of matches is meant to remind you that she's literally and metaphorically carrying the flame. The symbol of carrying the flame means that someone is carrying on humanity. We've seen this symbol in everything from the Bible to Cormac McCarthy's The Road, and now Snowpiercer as well. I think that Jungkook's flame carries similar weight here, but instead of being about carrying on the human race, I read it as simply being about finding the strength for him to live on and push through grief.
Damn.
As he
I knew the song, because they kept saying I miss you a lot in the song, but I didn't really grasp the story and the message that they were showing. And it is pretty incredible. Okay, I'm about to get personal here on you for a second. So yeah, I lost possibly what I thought was the love of my life last summer. And it's been like a dark winter ever since. And I understand about the loneliness. So now, this song is going to have even more meaning and emotional connection for me now. Because now I think those metaphors and I think the symbolism is perfect. You know, you're riding a train, being in the cold and feeling alone, even though there's people around you, you still feel so isolated. And now these images and metaphors make even more sense to me, and I'm definitely going to go back and watch the music video now. Now, you guys always said that, BTS has a way of finding you when you need them the most. And I could definitely relate to this song and connect with this song on a deep personal level. So this is good, I guess. Anyway, let's continue it.
tries to do this alone, his efforts may be in vain, but with his loved ones around him, he'll be able to light his own way and make it through the metaphorical winter. Towards the end of the video, we see Jimin emerging from the train, just like the characters in Snowpiercer. He's accompanied by the rest of the boys, who have all discovered that life can go on outside the train, outside of this relentless cycle of grief.
Wow.
You may or may not have noticed the name of the hotel in the video. It's called Omelas, which is a nod to the short work of philosophical fiction called The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas. It's a plotless story which describes a seemingly perfect utopian society where no citizen knows anything of sadness, violence, or inequality, or anything bad at all for that matter. Everything they have is beautiful and plentiful, but it all comes at a price. A young child must be kept in constant misery in a minuscule basement in order to keep the city as perfect as it is.
What?
Everyone is made aware of this child's existence and suffering when they're old enough to handle the truth.
Whoa.
But they come to understand that if
That
they
is
help the
deep.
child, that would only be improving the life of one, while sacrificing the perfect happiness and health of thousands. Most are upset by this, but ultimately they decide it's worth the cost to let the single child suffer.
I don't know why, and I'm just going to be straight up with you guys. The first thing that came into my head was this beautiful iPhone that I have. It comes at a cost. It comes at a cost, and we all know what that cost is. We know what's happening. In fact, a lot of the stuff we have is at a cost. It's at the suffering of someone else. And I guess I'm a part of it too. I look the other way. I know that the technology that I have, the clothes that I'm wearing, the shoes that I wear, it's causing someone pain somewhere else, misery somewhere else, and I don't care. Sorry to be a downer, but that's I'm being real. That's the first thing that came into my head when she said that story.
Some, however, leave Omelas, unwilling to indulge in the perfection made possible only by injustice. The author tells us that she's unaware of where these people go, uncertain if anything even exists outside of the city. But they seem to know where they are going, the ones who walk away from Omelas. In the story, the child represents the selfishness of man. But as it connects to the Spring Day music video, I see the child as representing all of the things we'd rather not face. We are bound to face hard truths as we grow up, but we must decide,
No shit.
Do we change and grow with our newfound knowledge, or do we choose to live in denial and false happiness, and therefore stunt ourselves?
Oh my God.
All of the boys are positioned in the roles of the ones who choose to leave Omelas. I'll come back to how this symbolism fits into the bigger picture a little later, once I filled in a few more gaps in the story. Before we move on, though, I'd like to point out one last detail from Omelas. It's mentioned that the idyllic city is just as advanced, if not more so, than we are. They have everything from washing machines to floating light sources. The laundromat scene in Spring Day didn't make a ton of sense to me before I read Omelas. I suppose the way it's shot puts a lot of emphasis on the circular motion of the washing machine, which to me echoes the idea of Snowpiercer going in circles.
If you watch my reaction on my Patreon page, I'm gonna sound like such an idiot because if you see what my interpretation of the washing machine is, so don't even watch it. It's embarrassing.
Instantly. But regardless, a washing machine still seemed like an odd choice to reintroduce that symbolism. It makes more sense knowing that it was most likely included as a nod to the short story. I later realized it also connects to a French art exhibit, which is referenced in the video, but I'll come back to that in a moment. According to the World Health Organization, South Korea has the second highest suicide rate in the world.
I knew it.
With BTS's entire discography being so socially conscious, it shouldn't be surprising that they try their best to battle this statistic in any way they can. In and out of the recording studio, they openly discuss mental illness, seeking to raise awareness and decrease stigma. Most of all, they seek to tell us that we're not alone, that someone else out there has felt what you feel, and most importantly, things get better. With this context in mind, I'd like to discuss the three most poignant symbols in the music video: ribbons.
You guys didn't tell me. This is making me feel some type of way. I mean, it's... BTS and the whole team behind them, they're on their ability to intertwine these messages in entertainment is unbelievable. It's like they are speaking to us on a higher plane, and their music and their entertainment is just the vehicle at which they do it by. I've never had this kind of connection to a music group before, or music. And I mean, you'd have to go back to maybe the 60s, Bob Dylan, Beatles maybe, who could tell a poignant story through music. But this is way more advanced. They're not just it's not just their lyrics. It's the visuals that they use. It's the imagery that they use, and it's the metaphors and the symbolism. They're taking the storytelling and the deep, poignant political statements of the 60s, of the musicians of the 60s, and they're taking it to a whole new level. The funny thing is, I don't think most of the world understands what BTS is all about, what they're doing. BTS is going to end up being studied in universities. Whoa, what a ride this turned out to be. All right, let's continue it.
Shoes, and piles of clothes. I'll admit, I didn't even notice the yellow ribbons at first, until I read an article that discussed their significance. For those of you who don't know, yellow ribbons are used for a variety of symbolic purposes, but the one that's relevant here is their use as an emblem for suicide awareness. Shoes also hold a lot of significance when it comes to suicide. In Korea, it's common for someone to remove their shoes before taking their own life.
Holy shit.
In many cultures, shoes are strung up like this to signify the death of the owner. Some believe placing them up high serves to ensure that their owner will be able to easily find them again if their spirit returns, and they'll be able to walk that much closer to heaven. If the piles of clothes you see in the music video looked odd to you upon first watch, you're not alone. But like all elements of the BTS music video, their inclusion was overwhelmingly intentional.
I'm sure.
These visuals mimic a French art exhibit called Personnes, in which the artist, Charles Butansky, shows that material items are all we have left of someone when they die. Just their piles of clothes, the things they chose to surround themselves with, and nothing more. These symbols snap the lyrics of Spring Day into crystal clear focus, accentuating the fact that it's more than just a platonic anthem. It's a tale of unimaginable loss. Anger is often a natural reaction when going through the stages of grief, and we see this clearly in Yoongi's anger at being left behind. As the song progresses, we see movement towards the final stages of grief, towards acceptance. We even see hope emerge as the lyrics recognize that no darkness or season can last forever.
I didn't even think about this, but there is I guess a small chance that the woman I'm talking about might actually see this video and she'll know I'm talking about her. Yes, I went through all these stages, and I don't know which stage I'm at now, but I think I'm in a much happier place. And this song really, really speaks to me because of that. I told you that following BTS has been life-changing. It certainly has. I'm sure you can tell, you can hear it in my voice that this means a lot for me. And every day that I go deeper into BTS's work, You guys know what I'm trying to say. You guys know what I'm saying. I'm sure you guys have been there.
So, how do all these symbols and illusions work together to give us one coherent story? The way I prefer to interpret the music video goes like this. At first, the boys reside in a place of perpetual happiness. That place is Omelos. They are young and innocent and carefree, until tragedy strikes. A loved one commits suicide. This tragedy is the equivalent of learning of the child in the basement. They are suddenly faced with the most horrible thing they've ever encountered, and they're forced to leave their idyllic haven far behind. Jungkook even tries to return to Omelos at one point, but he finds it's no longer the happy place he remembers.
Wow.
It's empty. But he is not alone as he walks away from Omelos for the final time. The boys ride the train through a desolate, frozen world. This represents the journey of grieving. It often feels lonely, and you feel as though you'll never reach your destination, but eventually you do. The boys emerge from the train, from the difficult beginning stages of grief, to see that they can survive outside of the train now. Although they still have some healing to do, they can do it together, outside, in a world that isn't as cold as it was before. Because they have each other. They'll continue to miss their friend, but they'll be able to keep their memory alive now, instead of trying to erase it due to pain. They can string up their friend's shoes, and finally, they can move on. This music video will always have such a special place in my heart. It's more than just
Me
a visually
too.
stunning piece of cinema. It's a profound story about loss and pushing through the darkest of times. Most of all, it's a reminder that things will always get better, and no matter how hard it is to take those first steps towards healing, you never walk alone. Just one last thing before I go. I recently found out about an organization called Bell Let's Talk, who's working to end stigma surrounding mental illness while raising money for various mental health programs. Thus far, they've raised $86.5 million, but their goal is to raise over $100 million throughout 2020. Let's help them reach that goal. All it takes is a tweet or retweet, and you can make a difference. I'll be leaving links to Bell's website in the description, as well as a link to retweet the tweet you see on the screen now. Whether it's through BTS's UNICEF campaign, or through organizations like Bell Let's Talk, we really are given a voice and an opportunity to help those around us. Let's take advantage of that. Let's join the boys in making the world a little better, one step at a time. Thanks for watching.
Hey.
무수히 춥고 그래도 어쩔 수 없으니까 라면을 부르면 이렇게 와야 돼요.
These
왜
guys.
추울까요? 봄날인데 가사 이상해서 그래요. 제가 조금이나 그러고.
Do you think they know the significance of what they're doing when they're on set? And when they're Yeah, I'm sure they get it. I'm sure they understand what they're doing. And the magnitude of what they're doing. Oh, and yeah, show some love to Don't Worry, I'm Not Afraid. Like that. I really like the way she breaks things down. I really like the way she breaks things down. I'm impressed with her so far. Yeah, on the one hand, yeah, it is. I can see it as a song about, you know, my personal loss of a loved one, a lover. But that happens. That's a normal part of being human. Is that you meet people, you fall in love. Sometimes it doesn't work out, you move on. But the message that they were saying with, you know, mental health and suicide, and the really one that hit me was the thing with the paradise and yet the kid was suffering in the basement. That one hit hard, really, really hard. And I want to go read that book now, if I can get through it, because I know what it means. I know what it's implying. Okay. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate this one. Yep, I'm going deeper and deeper down this rabbit hole. It's just taking me up. It's taking me down. It's just taking me. It's taking me to places that I've never been before mentally. That's part of the ride, though. That's part of the ride. Well, anyway, until next time, I will see you soon.